Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be bringing you a lot of value if you guys are new to the wholesale real estate space, which a lot of you are. A lot of you that are probably watching this video might not even know what wholesaling is, but if you don't, definitely go check out some of the other videos on the channel. But if you're trying to get into it, maybe you're in that analysis paralysis phase, maybe you don't really know where to start, look no further, because today I'm going to be talking about 7 different ways to close your first wholesale deal, in my opinion, under $500. So this is kind of like a beginner's guide for all of you. If you are a little bit more advanced, maybe you can start implementing these into your wholesale business. So I've actually tried all of these. I'm not currently doing all of them because I like to keep my business model a little bit simpler, but I've done these at some point in my business model. Some of them I'm still doing, so you'll kind of figure that out as I'm going through. But with that said, enough of me talking. Let's get into the value, and I hope you guys do enjoy. So I'm going to be kind of filming this video from 1 to 7. Obviously, I said I had 7 ways to close your first wholesale deal. Obviously, this doesn't have to be your first wholesale deal, but this might get your brain thinking of another way to start marketing, especially because of how cheap some of these ways are. They don't all necessarily work in different areas. It really depends on what part of the country you're at, and I can't tell you if one of these is going to work better than the other. But over the past year and a half, I've pretty much tried all of these because I do like trying different marketing techniques, and I'm going to be filming it in order of probably my least favorite to my most favorite. So stick around for the entire video. You don't want to miss them because I'm going to go in depth. And so starting right out is bandit signs. So number 1, bandit signs. It's a pretty cheap way to get out there. Again, this is a little bit more of an outdated method, but I still do see deals getting, I guess you could say, made across the country. In my opinion, it'll probably work a little bit better on the East Coast or Midwest and the West Coast. Just from my experience, I did over, I think, 750 signs and I didn't see a single result, but I know it does work, especially if you're on the East Coast. If you don't know what bandit signs is, basically like those signs you see attached to like stop signs or put into the ground that say "We buy houses, fast cash," and then a phone number. You can go ahead and buy them for about $1 per sign, and if you do about 100 a weekend, which if you're on the East Coast, I probably can almost say with certainty you're going to get a deal within the first 30 days. Put 100 out every weekend, that's about $400. And when I say 100, it doesn't sound like a lot, but to put 100 signs up in the area, driving around, figuring out the best hot zip codes to go put these at, it'll definitely take you a while. For me, I was doing them late at night because not everywhere is it the most legal thing to do. It's not necessarily illegal, I think, but some cities have certain violations. So if you're going to put a phone number on a bandit sign, make sure it's not linked to you. Make sure it's like a Google Voice or some number you pay for that isn't linked to your personal name, like a personal cell phone. The second way would be Facebook Marketplace and Facebook groups. And so I actually closed a mid-sized deal. I think it was a little bit over $5,000 doing this. Facebook Marketplace is somewhere you could post ads. It's kind of becoming the new Craigslist, where it's really outdated for what this industry holds. But Facebook groups are something a lot of people don't tap into. So for me, when I was on Facebook Marketplace in the beginning, I don't currently do this, but you can look for FBSO kind of posts. Some homeowners might try to get interest to sell their home on there, especially if you do find somebody on like a Craigslist or a Facebook. They're probably pretty motivated. They don't want to go through a realtor. It just kind of depends. You kind of have to get lucky with it. But if you're going to try the Facebook group route, so go ahead and join like your local garage sale groups within different zip codes. You can probably get 10, 15 within a minute of searching on Facebook, depending on where you're located. Search for like the garage sales, moving sales, whatever, because obviously those people are trying to give up their homes. A lot of times they have already sold them, but sometimes people need to move for whatever reason. They're getting rid of their stuff and then they might sell their homes. So you can go ahead and put like looking for fixer upper. I've seen in Arizona like looking for AZ fixer upper posts I used to do in the past. Sometimes you can offer an incentive like refer me to somebody that has an off-market property or hasn't been on the MLS. I'll give you $500 because if you're gonna make 15 grand, heck, I'll pay $500 for a lead any day, right? So Facebook groups and Facebook Marketplace is a great second tool. It's not the best, that's why I have it ranked number 2, but the third one is ZILLOW FBSO. So ZILLOW is a great platform. Again, this is another one. This is why it's so low ranked on my list. It's low ranked because it really depends on the area. And for me, I really haven't closed a single deal, but I've seen other people do it. So that's why I'm going to include in a video like this. But I can kind of give you a foolproof way of potentially getting a deal within your first 30 to 60, 90 days. And that's basically going to for sale by owners on Zillow. A lot of the times it works better if you look in more of like the niche markets, not where we're really looking like a central Phoenix or a Dallas or like very metropolitan areas. It might not work the best, but you might find hidden gems in there. So if I were you and you wanted to go the Zillow for sale by owner route, I would go ahead and start calling, because obviously they put their personal phone numbers on there. Make sure you're not contacting agents. Once in a while you'll come across them that posted at for sale by owner, but you can literally click a for sale by owner section on Zillow and go ahead and start calling these homeowners, because they put their personal phone number on there, and just start having conversations. A lot of the times they want retail or over retail, but sometimes if you know creative options with wholesaling, which again, this might not, if you're definitely in the beginning stages of wholesaling, I wouldn't recommend trying to do that, because you just want to focus on one thing at a time. But sometimes, again, you might find hidden gems. So, and you can kind of filter on Zillow for how long these posts have been on there: 1 day, 7 days, 21 days. But go ahead and start calling these homeowners. And if you can make 20 to 30 offers a day, this will really kind of grind your teeth and make you a really good cold caller, especially in the future of when you're trying to hire people, because you're going to get chewed out. It happens. I cold call just regular homeowners every single day that have no potential interest of selling. So if you're going to call people that are at least looking to sell, because you know they're putting them up on for sale by owner on Zillow, obviously you're trying to get rid of the property. Now what they're trying to sell it at, I can't tell you, but if you start making 20 to 30 offers a day over the phone, tracking and starting to build like a pipeline of follow-ups, because a lot of these homes won't sell, and these people will come down on price after 6-9 months if it's not selling. I'd say Zillow is more of a long-term game, but if you're making 20 to 30 offers a day, think about how many that is a month, and you should honestly get a deal by the time 30 to 60 days comes by. So the fourth one is a little bit underrated. I put it right in the middle because I have closed deals with it, but it's not the most scalable thing, and that's Craigslist ads. So in the beginning, I used to post Craigslist ads on the for sale by owner and a couple other sections literally religiously every single day, about 5-10, and I got banned doing it. So there's ways you can work around it with like VPNs, and I'm not sure if that's the correct terminology, but all that techie stuff where you can go ahead and make your IP address somewhere different, or it always changes IP address. That's the only way I could go ahead and post free ones now, but you can post as many paid ones as you want. So for me, currently in my business model, because I've closed my biggest deal today, which is a little bit $12,500 last year, at the end of last year, I think it was November, closed it, literally one call, went to his house, a couple negotiations for 2-3 days, and I closed the deal. I made $12,500, and that's why I love it, and that's why I still do it. It's underrated because a lot of people think it's kind of schemy and stuff like that, but there's very few people on it that actually do the paid ads. So if you want to go try and keep your money down, go ahead, do it. You're going to stay under your $500 budget if that's what it is, or you could do $5. You could do one ad a day in different areas. So I exchange between Tucson and Phoenix. So one day I'll do Tucson, then it's Phoenix, then Tucson, and I just switch it off 5 days a week. So it comes out to $25 a week and $100 a month, 4 weeks in a month. So it's $100 a month to post a $5 ad. It doesn't get taken down. It can't get flagged, and that's honestly the best part. Again, it works better in other markets, but even in a market like Phoenix, I've closed a pretty big deal doing it. I've seen people do $40,000 on a deal. I saw a podcast of somebody doing it. I forgot where it was. It might have been the All In podcast, or maybe the Real Estate Disruptors. But I've seen people close big deals on there, especially in the East Coast. So it's definitely something to try out. If you haven't really used Craigslist, go try the free ones, because they do work a little bit better in terms of you're able to put them in the for sale by owner section, but that's a pretty cheap way to potentially get a deal in the next 60 days. So the next one is kind of builds on the next two. It's number 5 because number 6 and 7 both involve it, but they take it to another level, and that's cold calling. So if you don't want to cold call, I recommend don't getting in this business, because at some point you need to talk to sellers on the phone, whether it's direct mail, whether you're sending texting, you get on the phone. So for me, if I were in the beginning again, I would just start cold calling and I did that when I started. So if you guys might think that's a really expensive thing, it's not really. If you want to start getting cold callers and stuff like that, which I don't recommend in the beginning, it's going to get expensive. But how I broke it down to less than $500 is to go pull a records of 2,000 properties. You could do an absentee high equity. You can do mobile homes, you could do land, like vacant land, you could do whatever you want. That's not up to me, that's what you have to decide. But I broke it down. So if you do 2,000 records and you skip traces at 15 cents, so I think if you go on batch and you use batch 15, you get 15 cents per record, which will come out to $300. To buy the list of 2,000 records, if you get a 3-cent deal, which you just have to go post in any of the wholesale Facebook groups, everybody has like 3-cent. If you find somebody, most of the time they'll have 3-cent records to list source. I can get it. If you need help, I can connect you with somebody. But it's 3 cents for a record, so that's $60 for 2,000 records. And then depending on if you want a hand dial, which is obviously the cheapest way to do it, I'd recommend just from having the perspective of hand dialing and investing in a dialer, it's about $100 a month. I use Call Tools, really easy. All you have to do is attend like a 4-hour seminar in the beginning just to set it up, your first campaign. And once you know how to do that, it's easy breezy from there. But $300, $60, and $100 for the dialer. In 30 days, you can honestly 100% close a deal. Just make sure your list isn't too broad. It's not just like single family homes. Make sure it's narrowed down a little bit, whether it's high equity, whether if you want to do creative, it could be low equity, which isn't hit that much. Just get kind of creative with it. If you want to buy other lists like pre-foreclosures, inheritance, those are probably going to be better results quicker, but you're going to pay a little bit more money on it. So depending on your budget, cold calling, just strictly hopping on the dialer, hopping on your phone, and just calling every day for a few hours, you're going to 100% get a deal. I can promise you that. So the sixth one is one of my favorites. It's not the top one, but it's something I still do to this day, and that's driving for dollars. Basically going out, driving every single day, finding distressed properties. And if you guys don't know what driving for dollars is, I'm not here to explain it too much in depth. Again, it's pretty much just going around writing down different properties that show some sort of distress, whether that's broken windows, hole in the roof, broken down cars in the driveway, tall grass, anything you can think of where they probably are not in a good financial situation since they didn't fix it up. You can find that in every single town wherever you're wholesaling, it happens. I do it here in the most competitive market in the country, Phoenix, Arizona. I've closed deals from it, and that's what I'm currently doing because I had such good success with it. And so I broke down the prices, which you guys are probably curious for. So if you guys don't know so you don't have to go ahead and just write these addresses down every single time. You just click it with a button when it's kind of like just going on maps on your iPhone. Downloading the app Deal Machine. If you use the code TTP, which I used, I don't get any benefit from him or from promoting that code. I just use it because it's actually a good deal. You get $10 off, $40 a month for the Deal Machine, $300 for skipping, 100 properties a day. So again, comes out to 2,000 if you go 5 days a week, 4 weeks in a month if you do it. So 20 days or 20 days of 100 properties, which should take you about an hour or two depending on the area. Depending if you're more in a rural area, it'll probably take a little bit longer to get 100 properties, but this is currently my business model. $40, $300 for the skip tracing, and then a dialer. So if you can hand dial if you want, but it's going to take you for me calling the 100 properties in the past, it used to take me about 5 to 6 hours, and now on a dialer it takes me about 1. So if that's a huge benefit and investment I'll make any day for the $100 for the dialer. And then I budget in about $100 to $200 for gas. So if most average person has like a Toyota or whatever, you're probably going to spend $100 to $200 on gas a month. So that's $300, $400, $500. So a little bit over $500 if you do want to do that. Again, it really depends on how much gas you're spending and how many days you go out in the week. But that's again, it's number 6 out of the 7 on the list. So the odds of you getting a deal within the first 30 to 60 days, if you consistently do it, if you miss one day, I guarantee it's going to mess up everything. I promise you, it sounds dumb, but the momentum you get from doing it every single day, I'd say 5 to 6 times a week. You have the weekends if you want, but if you're a real grinder, you do Saturdays, Sundays, 100% take off. You should have a day to recuperate and gather your thoughts and plan for the next week, 100%. But if you're doing that every single day, if you miss one day, I guarantee it'll throw it off. I've done it. It screws you up, and it honestly makes you feel like you just restarted. So driving for dollars, number 6 on the list. Definitely go out there and get it. And 7, I know you guys have been waiting for this one. A lot of people don't do it, but it's kind of growing in the market, and that's door knocking pre-foreclosure. closures. Especially when you're watching, if you're watching this video close to when it's being released, there's obviously everything going around with the pandemic and stuff like that. People are still out there doing it, and that's up to you if you have like a moral stance on that. But if you're really out there and you're a grinder, you want to go make money, go out there and knock pre-foreclosures. So you can kind of get the list. You guys might be curious of where I get that list. So for me, you can get it from the county, you can get it from your title company, or you can just go ahead and pay for it. So if you want to work for it, go to the county, go to the courthouse and find it. You'll get it. You'll get the best records there. Obviously, you can either pay for it or you can get from your title company. Title company is okay. You're going to get some records, but you're not going to get all of them. They don't have the best data, but it's a great place to start. And they'll give it to you for free as long as you kind of build a little bit of a relationship. Then what you're going to go ahead and do is go ahead to these doors, hit about 20 to 30 a day if you every single day if you can, 5-6 times a week. Leave sticky notes if they're not there. It's just saying, hey, would love to buy your property if you were looking to potentially sell. Call me, and it could be something as simple as that. One app I know that is coming out, I don't know when you're watching this video, but there's something called the Go Knock app. I know it's designed by like Pace Morby and that team. It's definitely surrounded around updating pre-foreclosure lists already up on that app, so you can just go ahead. It's kind of like driving for dollars, but it's just doing the pre-foreclosure version of it. And again, the goal should be about 20 to 30 doors a day. They say it takes about 100 to 150 pre-foreclosure door knocks to be actually get a deal. So if you're doing, think about that, if you're doing a 20 to 30 a day, I mean, every other week you should potentially be getting a deal or better. And again, it depends on how well you converse with these people, how well you're able to build rapport and have them trust you, because these people are obviously in a weird situation. You're showing up at the door. So that's just basically what I've learned over the past couple months, or a year and a half, you could say, in the wholesaling space. This is just opinion based for me on what works and what doesn't. All of these things work, but in my opinion, go stick with one of them. Pick one that I talked about today if you're trying to get into wholesaling, and stick with it for 90 days and let me know what happens. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did find some sort of value, definitely give it a thumbs up. And if you're watching this and 90 days later, so you get some results, definitely leave a comment in the comment section down below. It would mean the world to me. It would show me that you're actually an action taker, and I might have something special for you if you do. So I appreciate you guys being here, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.